Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your weekly DMV sports update. I'm going to give you all an opportunity to get on in the virtual live discussion room. I am your host, C Wall, checking in as I do each and every single week. At least I try to do it each and every single week to give you all the latest and greatest information on all things happening in DMV sports. You all listen. It's an exciting time. There's a lot going on, right? So, with that being said, we got a lot to discuss, but it is certainly going to be mostly about the Commanders. So, as you all are dropping in, let's go ahead and do our housekeeping items. This is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we say and do here has a strong possibility it is going to end up on your television screens each and every single day. Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77, all things DMV sports. Today, we are specifically talking about the Washington Commanders. It's not the Commanders update, y'all. I know it's not the Commanders update at all, but definitely wanted to talk about this new season coming up for the Commanders. There's a lot going on. And as promised, I have some of my Commanders media family joining me. They'll be having some rapid fire conversations. I want to make sure everybody is able to get on in the virtual room first. Everyone say hello to Mama Waller. And I see already some of my guests are already arriving. I see it. So, listen, without further ado, we might as well just go ahead and get started. All righty, as I'm giving you all an opportunity to get all locked in, here is our first guest that I'm adding on into the show. Hey, Donna.
Hey, Candy. Long time no see.
I was about to say, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, all right, perfect. Listen, Donna, we got to go ahead and get right on into it because I was doing the most. Sometimes I do that. And you know me by now that I just go ahead and say we gonna put everybody in at the same daggone time, and we'll get used to all the different electronics as well. We have, of course, Mama Waller is on, John Adams,
Mom.
DJ Brand. So, Donna, first things first. And if people haven't even heard, we had to get into the joke first. Everybody go ahead. I'm going to just go ahead, hit the love button, hit a fire emoji. You all are watching the weekly DMV Sports Update. I'm your host, C-Wall. I'm here with fellow Commanders media colleague, Donna Hopkins. We're going to do a preview of the Commanders season, but Donna is first up. We got other people joining as well. We got to share some bold predictions, but first, while we got some time, because you already know somebody else is already ready to go, I got y'all in rapid fire. We know everybody want to watch Thursday Night Football. It's okay. But Donna, we got to tell the joke first. Today was full of a lot happened at practice. From the horn that we didn't know what it was, and we're pretty sure it was probably a daggone tornado, to the joke of with the defensive backs. What happened today, Donna?
Hey, Candy, you know what? That horn went off. I was like, oh my gosh, are we supposed to be leaving here with this tornado? I didn't even see lightning, but by the time I got through left practice and whatever, it was coming down. I thought I was in a tornado. But before I got there, The defensive backfield always got jokes. Last week it was Cam Curl, and now this week it was Danny Johnson. Now we over there talking to Danny Johnson, and I said, about the crowd, the first sellout in forever, first time that he's even experienced it with the home crowd sellout. I said, well, the last time I was here is during Joe Gibbs' first time around, and it was always a sellout because they were going to Super Bowls. And he said, I wasn't even born. I said, oh, okay, Danny, you trying to throw off on me? What are you trying to say? I'm ancient, Candy, but you know what I told him? I said, hey, they were getting crowds every game. Other opponents couldn't even get into the stadium. He said, okay, you got me right there. But you know what? That backfield is always fun. But the light atmosphere that you've got out there, this team is ready to rock and roll for that first preseason game. You could just feel the energy last week and this week.
Yeah, I mean, I saw so many smiles today. Everybody, I mean, they're ready to roll. Now, we did talk to them before practice. Now, after practice, well, they ended up having to go to the bubble because of the storm. But even still, like you just said, Donna, the mood is so light. Everybody's just, they're happy. They're happy. They're comfortable. They're relaxed. They enjoy the camaraderie in each other. And it's noticeable. It's you feel it as soon as you walk in the building.
But I like, as far as I like what Eric Bieniemy said, in his pre-conference, and I asked him, I said, did he see this team being where he wanted to be at this stage of starting the regular season game? And he said that this team is right where they need to be, and talking with the players and all of them also is that they think that this team is where it needs to be in order to move forward. Now, as Eric Bieniemy said, we've got to see what, this team comes out and do on the field. We can do a lot of talking and whatever. And he talked about his energy. He said, if you're not nervous, then you're not ready, because he said he's a little nervous and he's so excited that he's about ready to bust open. Me too, Candy. But he said that he's got to keep it even keeled so that the players keep it that way also. And I don't want the people to take the Arizona Cardinals light because we know that everybody is projecting them to finish last in the NFL in general. And, they just announced the starting quarterback late this week. But if you take the Cardinals light going into this game, you might trip over your own feet.
Exactly. And if you all are just checking in, you are now watching the weekly DMV sports update from the Coaching from the Couch series. This is a live Bowie television recording. I'm your host, C-Ball. I'm standing here with Commanders media legend, Donna Hopkins. Am I standing or am I sitting? I don't know where I am anymore, Donna. You know that. I was like, where am I? It's all running together, but it's all rooted in excitement for the season. So you all hit that love button, drop the fire emoji. Make sure you share this show with your Commanders loving family and friends because we got Donna and we got some more coming in rapid fire. So 5 more minutes of Donna. Then the next person is up. Donna, any bold predictions for this season from you? What do you think? What do you think is about to happen? For real. Barring any injury. Let's go into this season saying nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, and Candy, you can't even say that because some people already got hurt.
Want to get hurt, but
yeah, I mean, you know what? You're looking at Terry McLaurin, and we watched him this today as far as going through testing that foot out, that turf toe, and he seems like he's good to go. But I would hold Terry out. I know that Eric Bieniemy said that they would hate not to have Terry on the field, but he's going to be a cheerleader no matter where he's at. But you know what? You got so much of the meat of this schedule to go. You want him to heal up 100%. And we know that turf toe can linger on and linger on. So I want him to be 100% before he step on that field. And they've got so many weapons at wide receiver this year that he can afford to be out this game. I mean, you think about that Dotson, Curtis Samuels, as far as De'Ami Brown has stepped it up, and Logan Thomas is supposed to be back, and that is going to be key right there. And then the running game, the way Eric Bieniemy is going to run the running backs, they're going to get a lot of passes out the backfield. we talked about the offensive line going into the season. And Candy, you know that's been my major concern of last year, this year. But Eric Bieniemy said in his press conference that, hold on, you know what, this offensive line is better than you think. And I think what Sam Cosmi said is that they ain't backing down from nobody. They ain't taking no mask off of nobody. And with that attitude, even if I got concerned about this offensive line, with him saying that, that's the little nastiness that you want to see in the offensive line. He said that nobody's going to push them around. We know what's on the defensive side. And you said, what is the outlook for this year? In my measure, it's too early for me to be making those predictions because I'm going to wait and see, because Sam, in his first real season starting, he's looked good. The defensive side, we know what they are. But I've got to see them playing in a real game before I start making predictions. And bet nobody say playoffs and Super Bowl this early. If they do, Candy, I'm going to kick them out.
Oh, well, they already.
I'm positive, Candy, I'm positive that I think that this team is going to be way better than what they were in the previous years. And I like the direction that they're moving in. And I constantly say that the number 1 draft pick this year is Eric Bieniemy.
That's right. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you out loud, because I guess I'm supposed to just facilitate, not say anything. But yes, that was the number 1 draft pick right there. It has changed the entire everything, the culture. You saw me smile really big when you brought up Sam Cosmi and the offensive line, because listen, y'all, he said we want to be dogs. We want to, when we finish with the game, we want people to say, that's a good offensive line. That's good.
I like that. We want to be dogs. Most of the time, Candy, you hear that from the defensive side of the ball, that we want to be dogs, that defensive front. But this team is ready to go. And I'm so excited that I can't wait for Sunday. But let me just say this. I'm putting on the brakes a little bit, because I think that we really have to go out there and see this team perform in a regular season game, and all the pieces that Eric Bieniemy said that are pulling together and they're where they should be. These people want to see. And the fact, thank you, fans, because the first time that's been a sellout since like 20 some plus years that has been Commanders fans. Thank you, ownership. Thank you, new ownership, for what you all do to build the new culture here for the fans and everybody else, where this bleeding, Candy, has been going on forever and forever.
I mean, you said it already, and I know we're closing in on your time, because then your buddy is coming up. Well, they're all your buddies.
All my buddies.
We're all buddies. But, I mean, the energy is there. The energy is there. And like you said, Coach Bieniemy, but the fans, sellout crowd, week 1. Donna, before you go, is this a must win on Sunday?
Yeah, my last statement before you bring on the other guys and everybody to add their, it's a must win. They've got to start out the gates quickly. And it's almost like now Noel Lyles track and field. If you're into track and field, when you come out the blocks, he's not going to wait for anybody else. They've got to come across the finish line first, not just this week, but in these first 5 games, they've got to come out with those W's.
Absolutely. All right, Donna. Well, I see you tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know.
Saturday, Sunday. Hey, Candy, we the days are all running in, but it's been great kicking it with you as always. And Candy, try to behave yourself.
Okay.
I know that's impossible.
It's impossible. It's too hard for me. Okay, but I've been doing better. All right. See you tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, Sunday. All right. See you, Donna. All right. You all ready? Next up, rapid fire. Already into the live stream, but he's in the car and he's on here and he's off mute. The one and only from Sports Illustrated Fan Nation, Commanders Country, Locked On Commanders, David Harrison. And David, let me see. I know we talked about me changing the layout, and guess what happened? I don't know how to do it. So my bad.
It's all right. I'm sure it'll be okay.
All right. So, David, you are coming from the Washington Commanders Charitable Foundation event where Magic Johnson attended. Give us the
Mhm.
scoop on what happened.
I mean, the thing that surprised me the most is that Magic Johnson handed out $6,000 cash from his own pocket. That's one thing that happened. He handed $1,000 cash to one lucky kid from the Washington D.C. Boys and Girls and Boys Club, and then he handed $5,000 to another one, and a $50,000 check on behalf of the Commanders Charitable Foundation. A lot of merchandise, and just hanging out with the kids. And if anybody has watched, the Magic Johnson docuseries on Apple TV or Apple Plus, whatever they call it, they kind of know a little bit of his history and his upbringing. And he just told the kids that he spent a lot of time in these types of clubs and living kind of how some of these kids are living. And his favorite phrase, I know he mentioned it in the docuseries too, is that he had a poor life, but he did or a poor upbringing, but not poor dreams. And I'm paraphrasing that terribly. That's not actually how he says it, but I think that he kind of gets the point across. And he just wants these kids to understand that it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you finish. And all you need is hard work and determination and a few lucky breaks. And so he was wanting to set some of those lucky breaks up. And now these kids have, one of them has $5,000 in the bank to start them off. Another has $1,000, and there's a kid there that Magic said when he graduates high school, he's going to give him a scholarship to go to college. So I mean, just diving in right into the community and getting to work.
Wow, that is awesome. I mean, how many times, for those of you all watching live, how many times have we heard that story being told about a Washington Commanders owner or any owner of any sports teams in this area? No shade, but let's just be for real. When have you heard that story being told by media of what an owner just walked into the community and did?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and look, Magic shared that when he talked to the players, what was it, yesterday, that one of the things he promised them is that they're going to get to focus on football. They're not going to have to worry about the owners being in the headlines for the wrong reason. So I mean, they're addressing the elephant in the room. Everybody knows what the score is. Everybody knows what the situation is for Josh Harris, Magic, all these guys coming in and what they're replacing. And Magic, at least Magic for one, is not shying away from it. They're acknowledging where they're coming from, and they're telling them that because of that acknowledgement, they're going to build a better future. Magic also mentioned that they've already dropped millions of dollars inside the organization to give the players some of the things that they've said that they've wanted, and the players are through the roof. And I mean, you just mentioned it with Donna, like looking around the locker room, looking around the practice field, like it's all smiles. Like these guys, there's been a major weight lifted off of them so that they can now focus better on lifting the weights that they need to get ready for the season.
I mean, David, you saw me kind of roaming around. We were always in the locker room, right? Talking to folks. But I actually made Deron Payne laugh. I said, well, maybe he's just happy today. I mean, what I said, maybe it was funny or not, but he was in a great mood. So I was like, but it's electric. You can feel it coming in, and it really does start at the top. So all good vibes there. Now, David, I have to get into some of the bold predictions that Commanders fans have sent me so far. So I'm going to try to get into some of the bold predictions. Really want to know your thoughts here. So there's one fan, Francis' son, that says the bold prediction is that this is a 4 to 5 win season. But if Howell plays good, I might have missed you back. You back, David?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. Gotcha. Thought I dropped you. It's a 4 to 5 win season, but if Howell plays good, we'll win more. That's as bold as it gets. We have a tough schedule.
Yeah. It is a tough schedule.
You in 4 to 5 wins. That's the bold prediction. Only 4 to 5 wins, and it's a tough schedule.
I mean, I think between the first 4 games of the season, and I know one of those games is an NFC East matchup against the Eagles, but within the first 4 games of the season and the entire NFC East division schedule, I think you're going to get 5 wins just in that stretch. At least 5 wins in that stretch. You know what I mean? I think that the Arizona Cardinals, I know Donna just said it's a must win. I'll say it's actually a can't lose. Like, it's not a must win. It's a can't lose. Like, you flip it on its head. You can't even think about losing that game. I think the Denver Broncos is a matchup that, we'll have to see how they look week one as well. But I think just kind of what you think about them right now, I think that's a winnable matchup. And look, I wouldn't put it past this team to be able to give a team like Buffalo and a team like Philly. I mean, we've already seen them give Philly everything they can handle, but also a team like Buffalo. There's an opportunity there to come out 3-1 in those first 4 weeks if this team can really harness all the potential there. And I think the New York Giants. I think at worst you should be splitting those games. Dallas Cowboys, you can split those games if not better. So I mean, I think you got 4 or 5 wins just in that window, and then we'll see what the rest of the schedule holds. And Chicago is obviously an improved team, and we can go all through the schedule. But I mean, I think 4 or 5 wins is the floor. I think you have to start there and then try to build from that.
And another bold prediction came in, which says 10 wins, but Sam throws 30 touchdowns this season.
Ooh. I don't know about 30 touchdowns. That would be a lot of fun to watch. But I don't know. If that's. That's a bold prediction, right? They're supposed to be bold. I think my target for Sam is 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns. I think if you get that from Sam Howell, and if you can get no more than 12 interceptions along with it, and honestly, most young quarterbacks, especially their first year starting, your touchdown interception ratio is usually a little bit almost even. So if you usually have a 20 touchdown year, you're probably talking 18 interceptions or so. So I think if you 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions is actually a little bit bold itself. But Candy, we've been seeing Sam Howell play smart football all preseason, all training camp, and everybody will kind of cast in there, yeah, but it's not the regular season, and there's some validity to that, sure, but smart football is part of Sam Howell's brand. You know what I mean? So as long as that continues to be part of his brand, then I think that that's a decent mark. And I think if the Commanders get that 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, no more than 12 interceptions, I think it's a playoff team. And I know Donna said no playoffs, no Super Bowl, but I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I'll say playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Now, I see a bold prediction come in from Eric Jessup, and it says this team should be motivated to stop the Giants. So I want to get your take on where this team is, or where you believe the team is in the NFC East.
Yeah. I think this team is second place in the NFC East. And I really believe that. I haven't done my final official pre-regular season record projection, but what I did do recently is I did a grades breakdown of every roster in the NFC East. I went position group by position group. And, the context behind that is if it's an unknown or an unproven position group, they automatically got a C. I'm not going to go based off of what I think is going to happen. If you're an unproven entity, you got a C. So like for the Washington Commanders, the offensive line got a C. And some people out there might be like, no, that's a D. Some people out there like Eric DMV probably say, no, that's an A. You know what I mean? But what I did is I broke that down and I got grade point, averaged it out. And when I did that, the Washington Commanders came out number 2, and honestly, I feel like the New York Giants overperformed last year, and I think that's going to get exposed this year. I know, this roster knows they should have beaten the New York Giants twice last year. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. You didn't, but they should have, and they should this year as well, and they expect to as well. And the Dallas Cowboys, I feel like, they're going to take a step back. They're a team that's looking to ride their defense more, but they still got a somewhat suspect part of their defensive line, a suspect middle of their defense, and their secondary is boom or bust. They give up a lot of plays or they give up no plays. And then Philadelphia Eagles, the only thing harder than being a really good team one year is being a really good team. We'll see if they've got what it takes to stay on top of the NFC. So even if you can get away with one game there, yeah, I mean, look, it's lofty expectations, and I'm kind of all for off-season hype. I think my listeners know that because I enjoy it. But I really look at the Washington Commanders. I think that, again, if you get smart quarterback play and the defense stays healthy, I think that's a huge key. This team could be the second best team in the NFC East this year.
David, what a high note for you to end on for our Commanders season preview. I know you're traveling, and like you told me earlier, drive to arrive, because sometimes I get up there.
Oh, I will. Don't worry about that.
But drive to arrive, and I guess I will be seeing you tomorrow, pep rally, one of those somewhere Sunday. Absolutely. So.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Well, the next guest is up, and I know he liked that last thing you said because he thinks the exact same thing, actually. So, David, I will talk to you later. All right, we're doing this rapid fire style. Already got the next guest is up. My big brother in the industry, Lake Lewis. Lake.
What's up? How are you?
I'm good.
How you doing?
Good. I'm doing all right.
All right. I see you moving fast.
Moving super fast. I was like, wait, I guess it is Thursday night football. And I know everybody's like, I want to, watch the game, but we got to talk Commanders because it's that time of year. If you all are checking in right now, you are watching from the Culture from the Couch series, the weekly DMV Sports update. But tonight we're focused on the Commanders season preview. We've already had Donna Hopkins on from Tony McGee's Football Plus, Commanders media legend, and David Harrison from Commanders Country and Locked On Commanders. And then the legend himself, my big brother in the industry, Lake Lewis, is with us now with Bowie TV. Lake, I absolutely have to run some of these bold predictions by you. Okay.
All right.
Now, one of the bold predictions is actually what David just said, and you talked about this in your show last week, which was where you think the Commanders will fall in the NFC East. A lot of people are saying they're going to be last.
I mean, the Giants, they have a one-man offense. I mean, Daniel Jones isn't bad, but their offense is predicated on Saquon Barkley. They don't have receivers yet. I mean, they drafted, the kid Hyatt from Tennessee, but, I don't look at him as an upper echelon receiver, no disrespect. So I just think that they're a football team that maybe overachieved last year under their first-year coach who came out of Buffalo. The cream of the crop is the Eagles. We know that. To me, that's the best team in the NFC, period. So no one's saying that they're going to beat out the Eagles. I mean, if you believe in, tradition, well, there's been a different division winner over the last 19 years. So that gives other three teams outside the Eagles hope. But realistically, Dallas might have the most talent, but we talk about the Cowboys every year, and we're just waiting until December before the wheels fall off. I think the Commanders literally pound for pound have as much talent as Dallas and definitely more than the Giants. So there's no reason why they can't compete to be the second best team in the NFC East this year.
Listen, I mean, we figure they were only a game out of the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And that's with the offensive coordinator and Melvin Russ McCray counted that too. They had 8 wins with the bad OC and average quarterback play. The team has gotten better.
And I don't think it was average quarterback play either, by the way. So if they can get average quarterback play from Sam Howell, the defense should be better. They've got more weapons. They've got another year in Jack Del Rio's defense. And then I think if you look at the offensive line, this offensive line is better than the offensive line that finished the year last year. I mean, you had Andrew Norwell and some guys last year. This line is better today than that last offensive line that played last year in the final game. And Sam Howell looked pretty good behind that pretty bad offensive line last year. I think people have to also remember Eric Bieniemy, maybe with the exception of last year, because Kansas City's offensive line last year was really good. But the other runs that the Chiefs had, it was kind of like a makeshift line. They plugged people in different places and it worked. They got some production from them. So I think Eric Bieniemy is going to make this line better with what he calls. And I think this team, literally, I really do. I think they're going to shock some people this year.
So I had to leave 2 of these bold predictions for you because this is something that also we've been talking about. So one came from Lamar Bland. It says, bold prediction, Terry and Jahan become the first 1,000-yard duo in Washington since Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson did it back in 2016.
100% agree with them. I mean, Jahan missed 5 games last year and still finished with almost 700 yards. I mean, he's just, I think he had 700, but I mean, he was on his way. And again, this was with shoddy quarterback play. And as I said on one of my recent interviews, I put an O on that shoddy, but that wasn't the word that I'm thinking about how that quarterback play was. So, you think about these things, Candy. I mean, you've got a strong arm quarterback, and we've seen throughout training camp and preseason, he doesn't turn the ball over much, but he gets the ball in positions where guys can make plays, and that's Eric Bieniemy's offense. It's spacing. So you're going to see guys like Jahan, guys like Terry get the ball and be able to turn up the field and make plays. And we know Jahan's game is definitely centered on that. So there's no reason to think that they can't have two receivers have 1,000. And well, I'm not saying they're going to be the next coming of the posse, but, Curtis Samuel, don't sleep on him either. I mean, he could put up 500. So this could be a prolific offense if that offensive line keeps Sam Howell upright.
Definitely. Here's another bold prediction. This one is from Cameron Mingo around those same lines. Jahan Dotson will put up better numbers than his teammate, Terry McLaurin.
I think he's going to have more touchdowns than Terry, for sure. I really believe that because he's a big play guy. Terry is too. He's a Pro Bowler. But Jahan's just, again, he's a guy that's a little bit more shifty when he gets the ball. Terry's just a dog that fights for balls, I think Terry will have more receptions, and I think yardage-wise, they're going to be very similar because Terry, if you think Terry the last 2 years had 77 catches in 22 and 21, and he had like 1,109 yards last year. The year before that, he just got over 1,000. So he's not going to be a guy that's going to get you 1,700 yards, and he doesn't need to now with Jahan on the other side. So they might be close in yardage, but Terry gets more receptions. Jahan gets more touchdowns.
Gotcha. Now, Lake, you've been covering this team a long time, a long time. Do you see any difference in the team? And if you do, what are those differences?
I mean, of course, I definitely see a difference. I mean, for one, they're big. It's a big football team, one of the larger burgundy and gold teams I've covered. They're athletic, one of the better athletic teams I've covered. And they're definitely faster. I mean, you look at the speed that's all around, sprinkled at the skill positions. They've got 4-3 guys all over the field, 4-4 guys. Even in their secondary, they've got some pretty fast guys. So that's something. And then I think from the mental approach, Eric Bieniemy was tough on him, and we all know about, all that stuff. I don't need to talk about it because that's what should have happened. He should have cracked the whip even harder. So that's something we saw in the preseason games. Their backups were battling and winning games at the end, and that's a good sign that it's sprinkling down from the top to the bottom as far as guys having to compete for everything that they're going to get, and that's a good sign for them. So
I think I might have cut out. Can you still hear me and see me, Lake?
I still hear you. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, with that being said, we know that the next guest is up. Anything you want to share with the fans? It's a sold out crowd, mostly Commanders fans in probably forever, right?
Yeah, a long time.
Donna and I got that sense, from the players today, but from you and your vantage point as an insider, leader in the industry and field specifically with Commanders media, any message you have for the fans coming into this season? There's still some skepticism, right? I've seen 4 or 5 wins. So any message from you to the fans about the season?
Just get back out there. I mean, I know the location and things like that it's tough for people coming from Northern Virginia. I mean, I dreaded driving to Landover from Ashburn, but you know what? It's your team again, So I say to the fans, it's your franchise again. Let's not talk about the name and all that stuff. It's burgundy and gold at the end of the day. And you have new ownership. You've got some really good young men in that locker room. I mean, really first-class guys. And you want to support them. You want to support them from day one. And this is day one, technically, under the new regime. And they need your support. So I think, you play a team that I think they should step on immediately. The Cardinals should not win this football game under any circumstances. So if you're Washington, you go out, you give your fan base something to be proud of and something to be excited about and support the new faces in the building. And I think this thing can take off. So, yeah, my message to them is just, stop complaining and come out and have a good time and cheer this team on because these young guys haven't seen a real Washington crowd. They just haven't seen it. And when they did make the playoffs a couple of years ago, it was during COVID. So, they need to see a sellout crowd. Cardinals don't travel well. So this building should be at least 70, 30, 80, 20, maybe for Washington fans. And we haven't seen that in a long time, Candy. So come out and support this team.
Absolutely. I am all for it. It's all in for sure. Week 1, burgundy and gold. And I think everyone should be excited and they should be proud. They should be happy. The thing that the fans and everyone has been asking for, it happened. It's happening. So it's a good thing. And they're in a good spot.
Get a W. Yep, let's get a W.
All right, Lake. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, this weekend, sometime or another, as always.
As always, have fun, my friend. Take
all
care,
right,
Listen.
Thank you. See ya.
All right. Okay, bye-bye.
And as we rapid fire, I told y'all we were going to get this rapid fire thing going. I got Darrell with me. Darrell is going to close the show. All right, Darrell Owens, Bowie TV. You all know he's also with Legacy Maker Sports Network. But my comrade at Bowie TV holds me down. He and Donna are about the only 2 people in Atlanta that can convince me not to cut up.
We try. I mean, it's that there's definitely an effort that goes into it. I can't tell you that we succeed at times, but we definitely try. We definitely try.
Too. And I appreciate y'all for doing that. And as you all can see, every media person who has been on here, and you all mostly see Darrell behind the camera, but he did some work with the coverage that we're doing with the Ravens in front of the camera. Darrell does this too, y'all. He's multifaceted. So he does a lot of things. And one of the things he has done is paid attention to this team. If you all have seen every single media person that I've had on here, we're all doing what? We're smiling. We're smiling.
We're definitely smiling.
We're definitely smiling. And that's not normal, right? That's normally not how it goes. Players are smiling, coaches are smiling, but in a way where it's not like joke time. It's good and they're confident. So Darrell, overall thoughts. We've talked about week 1. What are your whole thoughts? Week 1. What's got to happen?
Well, I think, the prior amazing media, Auntie Donna, got to throw love to Auntie Donna. Our man DH up in there killing, and of course, Lake, just amazing media minds. Just go and get that out the way first. Secondly, look, you got to go into this weekend positive. I think the biggest thing about this whole weekend, it's a new day. As the WWE wrestlers, the new day was it's a new day. Yes, it is. And, it's okay for the fans to sit back and be happy about what's about to go down. I think that, this weekend you go into this as the Commanders, as the Commanders organization, a team, you got a chance to go out there. Yes, you're going to take it on a Cardinals team that is not all that good, but you got a chance to punch them in the mouth and give the fans something to smile about with the new regime underway.
I'm not going to say what I said, what I told you the Commanders need to do on Sunday, because that would be inappropriate for television. But, exactly what you said. Darrell is always going to say something way more eloquent than I ever. Send Darrell to go talk to them. I can't do it. And so I can turn it on, but Darrell is the people's champ when it comes to that.
I be trying to help her, man. But look, when Candy feeling it. And I'm like, all right, Candy, don't do it. There's a lot of times I'm like, I'm talking her off the cliff. I was like, Candy is not worth it. Right. Don't do it.
This business is very, 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 very difficult. And Darrell helps to keep me super duper grounded. So that's why I got to shout him out whenever he's on here, because this is hard work, but we do it and we love it. So
yes, we do.
Speaking of all of that, remember when I want to take you back to the first Giants game, right? You said,
yeah.
And so what was the vibe?
So I remember, obviously the game started off pretty decent. I think Washington wasn't in a really bad spot. That second half it was just a weird vibe all the way around. And then being down on the field, I think the fans kind of felt it too. They just didn't know where it was going. And when they went into overtime, I remember looking to the side and telling the photographer beside me, I said, "Look, this game's going to be a tie, and nobody's going to be happy." And when it ended up being a tie and nobody was happy, we went into the locker room, and I remember me and you were talking as we were walking into that Commanders locker room, and you'd have thought they lost that game. And I think that Washington knew that they missed out on a big opportunity because they were cruising. They had just beat Atlanta the week before, and they were looking like, all right, we had talked about it. We was like, hey, man, we got to get ready for a playoff game. Like, if they keep playing like this, we got a chance to be hitting the road and going to a playoff game. That's where our mindset was. And then that game happened. Then they had the week off, and then they got them again on that Sunday night. And it was just like, and from that point on, they lost all their momentum. But definitely looked like you would have thought they had lost that game, even though it was a tie. And they still had kind of the advantage going after that. You would have thought they lost that game.
And it basically seemed like it did, right? It sucked the air out of the room. It was something that it just totally stifled their confidence. Then the Commanders are out of the playoffs. And then last game of the season against the Cowboys, here comes Sam Howell. And as many people would like to say, that game was a fluke. See, look at your face already said the answer.
I hear it all the time, Ken. It is crazy because I hear people say it, and they can't say it in my opinion. I think there was a certain point that Dallas stopped trying, I will say. Maybe, but it was in the fourth. It wasn't in the third, and it wasn't in the second quarter. Washington came out and they played well. And, you can't tell me that didn't affect Dallas going into the next week, because they had to take on San Francisco again. And you can't tell me it didn't affect them not going in there rolling, because they went in there and they just struggled, and you could see it. And it's like, man, look, if they're taking it easy, then they picked the wrong game to take it easy, if that was the case. But no, they went out there and they tried in those first three quarters. And I remember sitting in that press box and I said, they're trying. And probably about 8 minutes in the fourth, maybe 8 to 7 minutes, that's when they backed off. They realized that they weren't going to do anything. All the other playoff thing, all the scenarios had already kind of shut down. They were going to be the seed they were going to be. So, but I'm not surprised. And I mean, the rivalries, you can't let the Cowboys and the Commanders, they're not going to let them one up each other. So, you know how that goes.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put this comment up here too from Melvin Husband Cray that said Coach Ron said he didn't know Howard was good. Here's the other thing with that. And sometimes Coach Rivera, he says things and it's like, did he mean that? Because here's what we know. Here's what we know to be true. They followed him the last whole season he was at North. They followed him everywhere. That was who Coach Rivera wanted as his insurance plan. That's why he drafted him and had to call Carson. I think Coach Rivera might have just been. I had a good conversation with Coach Rivera today, so I'm not trying to talk bad about him.
No, we love Coach. We love Coach.
Very good spot. I'm not.
No.
All I'm saying is, I don't know. I'm not gonna say nothing. Coach says things. It is. I don't think he meant it the way it came out in that case, because that was specifically who he wanted. It was Sam Howell. Right.
And I don't think he meant anything by it neither, but Coach has had a couple of moments here in the last year where he said something, and I don't think he thought it was going to be anything, and he said it, and you had the playoff thing, and then you had a couple weeks ago with the be enemy thing. Yeah. And then you have this, and it's like, I really don't think he means any harm. I think he says it, he realized, wow, why did I say that? He comes back and apologizes. Coach is a really nice guy. I don't have anything but nice and kind things to say about Coach as a human being. So I won't take anything about that. But I think Coach might have to just be like, all right, maybe I should just say so much when I'm out here. he just feels so open to talk to the and the media be like, wait a minute, what did you say? And then they boom and they got him. I'm like, no, Coach, no.
That is so true.
It's hilarious. I love him though. I love Coach.
We do. He's a good guy. Darrell, what are you excited about this season? Predictions, bold predictions. What are you excited about watching from the field, from the press box, games you anticipating?
Man, it's
We got a lot of games, y'all.
we
We gonna do
excited.
all of them. We're
Well, look,
excited.
me and Candy's traveler miles are about to kick up quite a bit. So it's one of those things where I'm excited. Personally, I'm excited just to be able to go on this journey. You know, last year we got an opportunity to take this journey to the next step. You know, we got to do road games, wasn't in the foresight in our midst at the time, and then we're doing road games last year. Now we come into year 2, and it's already a given. We're out there, we're gonna go out there and bring the best coverage possible so that everybody on Bowie Television can see what's going on. And we're very excited about that, you know, on the personal level. As a team, I really like a lot of people want to like. I did something on Legacy on Fire, which we air on Bowie Television now,
Out
and
here
we did
on Bowie
ding ding,
TV.
yeah. So we're on Bowie TV now, and we talked about the division, and everybody had Washington finishing last. And I'm like, look, y'all, for me, it's either third or second. I feel, and that's why I agree with David a lot. You know, I feel my heart says second. My heart says second. The journalist in me wants to say third as a security blanket type thing, but this team can finish second. If Sam Howell plays extremely, you know, it plays well, you can. I think someone said, I think Lake may have said average, but as long as he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, the offense is very talented. Sam is very talented, and for me, as long as they got that defense healthy, it's going to be hard. That defense is going to keep them in games that you'd be surprised, like, whoa, I cannot believe it. Games like when they play Buffalo, when they go up against teams like the Patriots, games where you think, okay, maybe they're not going to be in the game. That defense is going to keep them in the game as long as they're healthy. And as long as the offense can minimize the mistakes, they're going to pull off a couple games that you'll be like, wow, I can't believe they won that game. And there's going to be a couple that you're like, why did you lose that game? That's what the Commanders have been for the last, years or so. But I think we'll have a couple in there. But they got a chance to finish second in this division. I think they make the playoffs. And it's not just because I want to go on the road in the playoff game or at home in a playoff game. I need that to be clear right now. I do truly think in a weak NFC, in a weaker NFC, I should say, where they got a chance, they can make them run here. The AFC is loaded. The NFC, most people think, oh, it's Philly. And then it could be anybody. Yeah, the NFC South is struggling. The NFC North is going to be, right there. The West, it's going to be either San Francisco or Seattle. I mean, unless the Rams find a way to crawl out. We know what Arizona's trying to do right now. They're trying to get those first 2 picks. So looking at all that, they've got a chance to make some noise this year. They really do. So Washington fans, be excited. There's no reason why you can't be excited. You deserve, this is your moment, and I will also say, just if it doesn't go as well this year, don't give up just yet. They're just starting to get things going. Just give them some time to get this thing going regardless.
Listen, Darrell, you said it all. You said it all. Give them a chance. This is everything that everybody's been hoping for, been wanting. This is the first time in over 2 decades the season can start and just talk football.
Right.
As was mentioned, I think David mentioned it. Magic told the team, they addressed the elephant in the room. Hey, listen, we know you all haven't been able to focus on football. We know that. And we're going to create an environment starting already where you've only focusing on football in winning these games. So what more can you ask for owners actually saying, look.
Yeah, take a deep breath, Washington fans. Look, here's the deal. We look, and knock on wood, I'm not trying to jinx Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is one of the top-notch guys out there. He owns a lot of teams. He's a very smart guy, or has ownership into some teams. He's a really smart guy. You're not going to see anything crazy. He's a very smart businessman. Josh Harris, don't give him grief because of the handshake on Monday Night Football. I told people, I said, look, it had nothing to do with he just wanted to watch his team play, and they had him up in their booth trying to talk. Let that man watch his team play. He don't care about talking to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. So just give them time, y'all. They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
Listen, I put the comment on the screen that John Adams says, I'm drinking the Commanders Kool-Aid. Take it from Bowie TV. Drink up.
Drink up. Drink up. This team is going to be competitive. They're going to be fun. And there are going to be some weeks that you're like, oh, my goodness, come on, y'all. And then there are going to be some weeks like, yeah, It's good. It's okay,
Mhm.
but that's football. That's the fun part about football. Every week, going in there knowing that it's going to be a fun thing or a fun game, or your optimism is out there. Washington fans, you have something to smile about. There's a good chance you can make the playoffs this year. A good chance.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to close this show out with Darrell still on the screen with me because everybody wants to go rush and watch Thursday Night Football, including us. But but listen, you all, if you're not already, make sure you are. Of course, you're still following Seawall, but make sure you are subscribed to the Bowie TV. Go to Bowie TV at BCMC TV Maryland on YouTube. We're putting more TV shows up there, all your Commanders content. Send it to your Ravens family and friends. Our colleague Karita Parks is doing an amazing job continuing the Ravens coverage up there through the regular season. Let's go ahead. Come on.
Clap it up, baby. Clap it up.
And Ravens coverage this season. So we got the NFC covered. We got the AFC covered. This is going to be exciting. And keep Darrell and Donna and everybody in prayer for helping me keep it together.
We're gonna try. We are gonna try to keep you on the straight and narrow, Candy. We promise.
And off the Mountain Dews in the press box, I have committed to that. We even got the workers in there are now telling me I can't have Mountain Dew. So Earl Grey tea, it's all over.
Is that all
over now?
On that bougie teacup they got on the corner?
That bougie teacup. We're gonna get with the bougie teacups. And all right. So, you all listen, it's gonna be more of this, much more of this, and much more coverage. If you can't tell, we are excited. You all have probably noticed this is probably the happiest you have seen me since I started this business and covering this team, to be quite frank. And Darrell is laughing, but he's the truth. And it is what it is. I mean, anytime we can walk out to practice with Coach Rivera, and I'm talking about people think I've been on an island, and he was like, "No, you just been at training camp every day."
Yeah. Hey, look, that sun's different.
I've been on an island, Ashburn Island.
Yeah,
because the sun beats right down. He's giving me advice on hats. I mean, this is where we are with the team. Hopefully, that is building the rapport from all parties involved: owners, staff, coaches, players, with the media as well.
Right.
We're able to keep that lighthearted feel and focusing on the positive things in game preparation. And when Magic Johnson says he only wants to focus on football, you know that's what Bowie TV gonna do, because we're not gonna make Magic.
We in there. We ain't got time for all that craziness. We here for football reasons.
Football reasons. That is all. You all listen. Thank you so much for tuning in. You all have been awesome. Your bold predictions rock, and I will certainly be seeing you all again soon.